ban last time around. The one thing that hasn't been banned yet is the Rumble. We'll see whether JDG are going to take that one away or aim for a first pick on that one, as the Jarvan will be the decision. So we could be leaving a Rumble up and available. The Ambessa is another thing that has been pretty big this tournament. We'll see what this final ban is going to be, whether they do just decide to get rid of the Pyromaniac Yordle, but instead it will be the Vi taken away. So Xiaoxu can go towards the Rumble if he'd like.
Absolutely. I do wonder if we're going to have to drop out of Champ Select because the JDG players are in the wrong order currently. JunJia is not support and HongQ is not playing jungle.
I thought that they were just like flexing.
If they really wanted to do this, I'd be all for it.
I think maybe we just run it. I want to see HongQ in the jungle.
I agree.
I reckon that sounds like a whole lot of fun.
You were right about the Rumble, though. That's first picked.
Yep.
So we'll see what Dhokla decides to answer that with. Galio's gone. The standard would be something like Ornn. Dhokla's never been an Ornn enthusiast.
Yeah, you don't need to pick it right now either.
Correct.
There are some things that you can pick into the Rumble, but
Ksante.
Yeah, Ksante could be one of the options, and this has actually found a fair bit of success in the LCK where I'm from.
Yeah.
The Ksante into the Rumble has worked out quite nicely. So we'll see what Inspired is going to be collecting. Probably not going to be in Italy, but see whether he's going to be heading towards like a mid lane pick, or I actually think picking jungle here makes a fair bit of sense as well, as the Jarvan and the Pantheon both banned away. We'll see what it is.
Nocturne down from game 1.
Ooh,
but
instead.
Corki Nami, I think, is a very good game 2 bottom lane for nearly guaranteeing prio, especially with Seraphine banned and Karma Nico being gone from game 1. So likely to see Nami taken as their third pick, unless JDG decides to try and steal it away with something like Lucian Nami.
Yeah, is Lucian Nami a thing that they could go towards? Is Annie is going to be the choice, so instead they're going to forego that, continue down the route of fire, as the Wukong seems to be locked in here as well. So a lot of team fighting towards the top side of the map, a lot of setup as well, so they can sit on that barbecue forever. As Saint will be locking away that Nami like you were talking about. Makes a lot of sense here for
Are you a genius? How could you tell they locked in Wukong?
Because the Wukong's face was a picture on the floor outside.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, and I've got eyes in the back of my head, so that's how I saw it. I was looking out the window
so
behind me.
Apologies for the graphic at the moment. That is Annie Wukong on one side, and they're bringing it down. They might be redoing the Champ Select currently, or they're just going to continue drafting.
I really wanted to show off with my guesswork.
Yeah, I mean, we can see what's locked in.
Yeah.
We can just do draft off this, to be completely honest.
But I have a feeling that they're probably going to put the players in the correct order. That's what I assume.
I'm trying to see out the screen. They're still drafted. No, they're still drafted. If we can shift the camera more to Isles' screen, we can see the bands. Yeah.
Right. So now, turn around, Jatt. Turn around. We've got to cast off the wall. That's what we're going for now.
Champ Select's still happening.
Yeah.
If they would give us the shot of a player's screen, we could see the bands, but currently we can see the picks.
We need to get that put onto the screens behind the players. I feel like that would be very important for us to be able to cast off, not the screen that we would normally cast off.
Do you want to guess the bands?
Okay. I assume
that's too hard.
That we've got two. Okay. LYON are going to ban Bard and Lulu.
They need to ban the supports.
Bard and Alistar.
I mean, Lulu would be a pretty good ban, although Yunar is gone.
They don't have a lot of.
Akali and Nautilus banned on one side.
Akali and Nautilus banned on which side?
Well, maybe total.
That'd be JDG would have banned Akali and Nautilus, or that just both of them?
And a Rakan ban. I'm just listing the bans, not who banned it. I'm getting fed information from our help.
Yeah, we are getting fed information. I don't know who banned what. I assume the Akali ban was from JDG, though. Nautilus ban, I think, is a really good one if LYON did go for that one. Hard engage is something that JDG are looking for, and then...
If JDG didn't have engage last game, they sure have it this game.
And Rakan being banned away from JDG as well, I think would also be fantastic, because Rumble, pretty good alongside the Rakan, holding them on to the
An
equalizer.
Aurora ban to deny it from Saint, which makes sense. So JDG would have banned Aurora, because Aurora and Annie are very similar champions in the way that they pilot the game. So it's a very frequent pick into it. Yeah,
Aurora just straight up outranges Annie as well. You just have a really horrible time.
Yeah.
I believe we've seen that already. I believe it was Viktor that played the Annie into Aurora and didn't have the greatest of times. That's if memory serves.
I see a Viktor on the bottom.
Going to be picked up. Yeah, there we go.
Okay, Viktor to Annie. So Saint did pilot Viktor in game 5 against Loud. Had a very strong game. That was into a Vex.
Yep.
Slightly different matchup here, but if Viktor gets a little bit ahead and can itemize a little bit of magic resist, he becomes very strong against the Annie. I will say it's difficult into Wukong, though. Wukong's very good at closing the gap onto Viktor, so Saint will have to be very careful with his positioning this game.
Yeah, I do think that aiming for a fair bit of scaling as well, I feel like Viktor just gets a whole lot work done in the later stages of the game as Jhin, Alistar going to be locked in. Man, this is the most uninspiring lane, though. I don't really like... I know that Jhin does decent amounts of work in the early stages of the game, but Jatt, I am a generational Jhin hater. I really just don't like him very much.
Well, listen, I think it can win this game, Max.
Is it anything to do with the Jhin, Jatt?
We'll see.
That's my question.
We'll see.
Because I think that the top side of the map is absolutely terrifying, and Gala and Vampire could have locked in whatever the heck they wanted, and I think that Alistar is an absolutely fantastic choice.
Malphite jungle for Inspired is going to be the last pick.
Oh my goodness.
He's been very effective on this pick when he's able to control the tempo of the game. He's really good at playing around these cooldowns. I mean, and he's already in the groove of waiting for ultimates when he plays Nocturne. There were actually 2 series in a row in the LCS playoffs where game 1 he Nocturne, game 2 he Malphited.
All right, stay in the same mindset.
And the game's played very similarly, so we can actually have our hearts broken twice in a row if things keep up.
Well, the thing is, if both Dhokla and Inspired can build a bunch of armor, I mean, I guess they're not going to really be able to because there's a Rumble and Annie in the game.
There's a lot of AP,
Yeah, so they will need to deal with a fair bit of that. But, I mean, Jhin is never going to kill any of these tanks. And so they can kind of freely itemize into a fair bit of magic resist before getting some armor items and feel pretty immortal in this game. And a Nami does mean that you don't necessarily have a whole lot of engage options. Rock Go In is a pretty good engage option.
It is a good engage option. Isles is going to have to be very careful. He's going to be the target in a lot of these fights. Alistar Jhin can engage from a very long range onto him if he's ever trying to get wards. So I think that's going to be kind of how JDG try to play, is they're going to be trying to engage on more Saint, Berserker, and Isles rather than dealing with the brick front line that LYON has been able to put together.
I tell you what, I actually really like not having a champion select. I feel way more immersed in what we're experiencing
the team comps on the screen. I really like how big the picks are.
Yeah.
If we just found a spot on the stage for bans, we could be onto something.
Yeah, exactly. I think maybe we could actually just get someone to stand up there with pictures of champions, and they could like quickly just sketch out the picture of a.
You're gonna sketch it?
Yeah, sketch it. Because otherwise, you'd have to go through like a million different cards.
I mean, it could also just be another screen.
Nah, I want someone to sketch it. I just think that'd be more funny.
Okay.
As already we have a heal coming out here towards the bottom side of the map as Berserker and Isles fighting here against Vampire and Gala. I would assume that the Corki Nami would be feeling pretty good about scrapping very early.
Gala's already down a barrier here.
Yeah. And they used heal as well, so it's only flashes that they have up and available. Vampire doing that thing that Alistars like to do, where they want to put Headbutt on cooldown as much as they possibly can. Okay. And having a look, I think it should just even on out as this wave is going to get crashed in. But still priority over to Berserker.
Yeah, absolutely. Early lane prio with the Viktor into the Annie as well. And for a team that normally drafts huge bot prio, this is definitely not that for JDG. Part of that is taking away the Nami, so I like that draft strategy from LYON.
Ooh, HongQ getting aggressive towards Saint here, and if he just continues walking forward, it could be dangerous, but Saint likes this position. I don't know whether he should. The flash comes in, and that is a pretty simple first blood there for HongQ. Yeah,
Saint definitely overplaying. Would be a little bit worried about the carryover from losing that Galio game into this Viktor start. And Coach Chabe here, what I've learned from losing the game to Gen G, maybe you have to draft like a square. Everything you have cannot be a triangle or a rectangle, which is interesting. Quote.
It's no triangles or rectangles. However, it can be a circle.
We're going to break that down after we watch Saint here. Saint just misjudges his damage here because he has more minions, so he's hoping HongQ takes the minion damage, has the Q shield, but HongQ just...
Yeah, he also had Molten Shield back.
Has more of the damage. That to me is a big tilt play by Saint, feeling like he needs to ego on HongQ early on in the lane. Cannot do so.
Yeah, that is not really allowed.
Yeah, but there's a gank coming bot lane, potentially.
JunJia just going to move towards the scuttle that I believe was just taken.
Yeah, well, he's going to be able to push.
Just spawned.
This is interesting because LYON have bot push, but they do not have mid push, so Inspired still might be able to bully him off this crab, and yeah, JunJia's just going to run through his push mid lane and get to the top crab.
Yeah, a little bit of happy feeding there, but should be able to make his way over nonetheless. As LYON still with, like you say, like a whole lot of priority here towards this bottom side of the map, as you would be afforded by picking this Corki Corki Nami.
Yeah, so you really you requested the Tabe circle square triangle.
Yeah, I just really loved it.
You love shapes.
I do really like shapes.
And you love sayings that sound like they have meaning that we can then try and infer meaning on.
That don't actually have any meaning.
Like tempo markers and things like that.
Yeah, like tempo markers and tempo vibes.
Here comes a potential gank, and then we'll get into it.
Yeah.
No
That is going to be the stun on to Saint. Flash forward there as they're wasting no time. Decent gravity well is going to come on through there as Saint ticking, and he's going to survive.
Very close. Gets the flash out of JunJia, and big trading ball lane.
Fantastic bubble here as well as Gala down to about 100 has to flash his way out of there. And Vampire going to be the one left remaining here in this bottom lane as LYON still off to a good start despite that first blood.
Yeah, as long as Saint can equalize this lane and not get one shot at level 6, the bot lane, top lane, and jungle are all in fine spots. As Gala's sticking around, no flash, no barrier, but Berserker low on mana, does not want to risk going too deep.
As Dhokla here towards his top side is just going to be having a pretty horrible time. As Isles, let's see whether it's going to be a cancel from Berserker, and he is going to cancel that. Now Gala with 300 health to his name. They're going to look for this kill onto the Nami. As the bubble connects once again. Double bubbles from Isles. And that is going to secure the first kill for the bottom lane here on LYON's side. As Inspired really likes the enemy Raptors, man. He is always here, no matter what. Just brawling on this rock.
Yeah, it's definitely his favorite thing to try and steal. And as Malphite, he's much stronger than him right now. Pushes him off of that.
Yeah.
HongQ had to go back to lane because the wave needed to be caught. So JunJia has to just accept that Inspired is likely hitting level 6 first.
And that's a scary prospect, as of course the Unstoppable Force is the entirety of Malphite's kit. There is not a whole lot more.
I mean, the W smack is pretty good now. That's why he's jungleable.
Yeah. I do feel like the only thing you really need to worry about, though, is the rock rocketing towards you.
Oh, look at Isles being a bro here. Nice big heal onto Saint.
Beautiful.
Actually, that's the type of stuff that tilts mid laners.
Oh, yeah, it really does.
When the support just comes in to heal.
The frustration roam.
Yeah, you're saying enchanters can't roam? Watch this.
Mm-hmm. It was the most annoying thing about Nidalee jungle as well, when you just run through, hit one spear, and then heal up the mid laner and leave.
Yeah, Saint,
don't even need to try and kill him.
Saint would love to get a kill here, but instead he's just going to go to River and get a nice reset off while the Annie goes back. So a recovery from a very questionable first blood.
Yeah.
After some nice 2v2 play by Berserker and Isles. 20 CS up in this lane now. And I have been meaning to infer meaning from this square quote.
All right.
Because I think it's abstract, but it makes sense in the sense that he said previously we were trying to play support jungle, and then we just decided to play very strong through bottom lane, which would be like a triangle, if that makes sense.
Yeah, they're cutting out a portion of the map.
It's like the bot lane and the jungle, that's your triangle. Yeah. But then he said after Gen G, if we just play a triangle, like they drafted everything with global, so they play the map. So the square more means, oh, we need to draft like a whole larger area of the map that wins. Something
you
like
need
that.
to understand that all the parts make the whole.
Because when you pick Jhin Alistar as well, that's not a bot lane triangle.
This is a triangle draft. This is definitely a triangle.
Because it's a top side triangle.
Yeah, they've chopped off the bottom lane.
That's true.
That's
this is a triangle draft.
This is a triangle draft.
Yeah.
And so, if JDG loses this, we're going to need another interview with Tabe to ask him why he drafted a triangle here in game number 2. As Saint has been ganked here, does have to flash into the Raptor pit, as Inspired is just a little bit frustrated that there's someone else there.
The wrong
while he's
triangle,
taking
too.
his Raptors.
Because they've been so good at
normally
winning
it's the
bottom
other
lane.
triangle, isn't it?
Their CS is currently getting doubled. Berserker and Isles. So because Vampire tried to become a square, he's left the one side of the triangle even more alone. So
from production, they personally think that he wants champions that tessellate nicely, like squares would do.
Well, Gala
I think that's
still
a beautiful addition to
creep,
what could be an inferring of meaning from a thing.
The producer is the character.
All right, there's a bear in the mid lane as Saint doesn't have flash anymore. Throws down the Arcane Storm, though, in response to Tibbers being thrown down. And, oh dear, another flash forward and another kill here for HongQ. Stop walking back to this Annie, man.
Saint's dead again. But they have full control over the bot lane side.
Yes,
so
they
there
do.
Are silver lines and everything.
Part that this triangle has left behind.
HongQ is playing very well.
Indeed.
Saint is continuing to buy more health to prevent that from happening again.
And is this the first time we've seen Annie actually win lane?
It appears so.
In this tournament. I feel like Annie has always had value, right? Because you can always just flash bear. But it hasn't been a pick that's been in control of a lane.
Gala's flash just came back up. in this lane as Malphite was thinking about ganking.
Well, Berserker just wandering on forward. Does take a fair bit of damage here as the bubble is going to connect once again. It's a level 5 Alistar, and he's just dead. That will is big time breakable.
Generational game right now from Berserker Isles against Gala Vampire, still doubling the Jhin's CS. And Inspired able to take a Drake in exchange for those little grubs. So this is a Berserker angle for sure.
Yeah. And Berserker's Corki has always been pretty good. Even though he didn't necessarily find a whole lot of success when he was in the LCK, this was one of the picks that he did like to gravitate towards even then, and has continued to find some success on it. 1,000 gold is going to be the lead here with that first dragon being picked up. Next one going to be an Ocean, which means we're almost guaranteed a pretty powerful soul here in this game. I'm looking forward to seeing what it is going to be as Vampire rotating around, thinking about whether he wants to support his mid laner. Isles doing exactly the same thing.
It would be a good strategy currently to play through Annie or Rumble at this stage in the game.
Oh, yeah.
It's the only positive part of the map. This would be a very one-sided game without HongQ's performance so far.
Play safe mid, I think, is what LYON should be saying in this particular game.
I mean, to be fair, it is a little tricky to do. Every mid laner is super good about every laner now is really good about freezing when they have an advantage and forcing the other player into more dangerous situations to try and clear. Don't know if that's exactly why Saint has died twice, but it's part of it.
I was going to say something, but I just don't feel the need.
Yeah, it speaks for itself.
It does. As Berserker and Isles just going to move towards yet another plate. We'll see whether they can collect that one. As Isles, man, he's just been hitting these bubbles.
Yeah, it's been.
Aquatic champions, you know, an Australian player makes sense, you know.
Of course.
We do like the beach. Although, you guys are in California, a lot of beaches there too.
Raptors.
All right, more
Berserker's
Raptors.
got to be a little careful, but they see JunJia.
Has Inspired just been clearing Raptors this whole game?
That appears to be the most important objective for him right now.
He's just been going Raptors to Raptors. All right, Equalizer comes down just to stop Dhokla from going back home. Xiaoxu will be able to clear the wave with it at the same time, though. And, I mean, if there's a tempo marker, that's got to be one of them.
Yeah, well, I mean, the tempo marker there for him to not recall is they saw Annie again on mid-wave. So he realized he could stay for one more wave. There you go. See, I think that makes enough sense.
I mean, it could theoretically be a thing. I just feel like it's just tempo without the markers regardless.
So VODS tried to explain where tempo came from. He said it's from chess. Like, if you're always responding to the other player, the player who's making you respond has the tempo.
Yeah.
So if it's a sign that they have to respond to you, the sign could be the tempo marker.
Yeah, that is the marker.
Yeah.
All right, there you go.
I think it works.
And honestly, it is just if wave be pushing towards enemy, you have tempo. And that is kind of how it works. That's the marker.
Yeah. It might make it easier to explain tempo because it's kind of an abstract concept.
Yeah, I kind of hate that it kind of works.
If you start making markers, it's easier to teach.
Because I do need to admit to everyone that this was 100% a mistake on my part.
It was made up.
Yeah, it was just a bit silly as they deny the cannon, and Gala also just taking so much damage. Phosphorus Bomb comes down. They even get the ebb and flow to make sure the Berserker is absolutely fine. Decent trade here onto HongQ, but he does have that stun lined up and throws down the bear because of it.
Pretty
More damage comes out. The Death Ray would have been enough, but dealing with Tibbers and the Annie at the same time, a little bit of difficulty here. And JunJia was lurking off towards the side.
They were fighting over Raptors again.
I was going to say, Inspired is obviously on his Raptors.
Yeah, the Raptors are the new crabs, for sure. I mean, another good game state for LYON.
Yeah.
Currently, I will say the Wukong Annie, once they both hit their item power spikes like this Malignance and the Trinity Force, will be very strong in team fights. That's what Berserker is going to have to contend with since he's got the lion's share of the gold. Plus 2,000.
I see what you did there. That was a very nice pun, Jatt. I like that lion's share.
Out of the tournament. He was eliminated.
See, and now you've used his name as a pun as well for double puns.
First stand goals.
Absolutely ridiculous. Okay. Dhokla just going to have to collect another wave as that one is going to get melted by the Equalizer, but it looks like LYON will be able to grab this outer turret on the bottom side of the map. First turret blood going over their way, but JunJia is in the area. Yeah. They should just be able to back away. Jatt, by the way, just then visibly tensed as they were potentially going to overextend, but they didn't.
You understand why I'm always on edge.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I've learned my lesson. I'm not going to say things about caster curses and make jokes again because I kind of thought that one was in the bag, and then it absolutely wasn't, and I have egg on my face. I apologize.
7-0 26 minutes into the game on Soul Point.
Yeah.
And
so
not like a fake, it wasn't a fake 7-0. It was like a 7-0 with a 5,000 gold lead.
Let's have a look at the Coinbase gold grind, chat.
Okay.
Dhokla is behind a bit of gold, but otherwise
just a bit.
It isn't too much of a worry here for the Ksante.
Yeah,
probably
he's got
the
his
least
MR.
interesting lane as far as an advantage to be called out is concerned.
He's got his Kanik. That's the most important item when he's up against Annie and Rumble. And since he doesn't have to worry about JunJia, since JunJia's always fighting over Raptors, it's fine to just stack MR for the early game.
I do feel like JunJia should just go to Inspired's everything else in the jungle, because Inspired won't be there. He will be at his Raptors.
Get the Raptors.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, though, the
God.
Wukong has decided to forego Inspired's Raptor spawn and is ganking Dhokla.
Well, let's see whether Dhokla can survive, as he is now going to look to try and find a bit of an all-out angle. Does use it here and flashes away. Success does have to use absolutely everything to make that one happen. As in the meantime, here towards his bottom side of the map, Saint just takes another bear.
They're going to continue to deny him off this wave, though, and collect a lot of plates. Inspired is smacking the Drake, so he can't help. But the fact that Alistar is moving up means Dhokla has to completely abandon his turret. First turret has already gone over to Berserker in the bottom lane, so the bonus gold isn't there, but this should still give a pretty big lead to Xiaoxu.
This is a pretty scary teleport as well, as we did see that Vampire was in the area, but it looks like JunJia is just going to leave because the rest of LYON are making their way up as well. Dhokla will just get exhausted just for the slow to stop him from moving further forward.
It was role quest completed teleport, so even more secure with the massive shield plus the Kanik shield. Gets to keep that shield for 30 seconds too, so he's going to go do some goofy things to interrupt resets.
Yep, continuing just to dash underneath the enemy turret. Death Ray comes down, does a fair bit of work there as well with that Rod of Ages now completed here for Saint. He's doing his best to scale up.
It is a little weird that Saint is here, though, since Dokla's the one that teleported up. So Saint is the natural person to go match bottom lane, and he's just going to have to burn his teleport without basing to get down there. So that would be a negative tempo marker right now for LYON that they had to use the TP in that way.
Yeah, I mean, Saint did have to walk up top lane because they thought that Dhokla was potentially teleporting into 3 people.
Right.
But that wasn't actually the case, as Gala continues to take a lot of damage. This Jhin not exactly doing the most at this stage of the game. Look at the number.
Which one?
That is the CS number is a big one.
Whoa! 173
gold
to 118.
Kind of ridiculous. I haven't seen a lead like that in quite some time this early on in the game. Berserker really having a good one.
Yeah, but Dhokla, very unhealthy turret, is going to have to likely just give this one up and then walk through the Alistar.
Well, he also got another bear coming down here towards his bottom side, but the flash does have to be used to get out of the way of the unstoppable force. Inspired will now have to walk towards the bear and does get stunned on his way up, but he is going to live.
Yeah, and Dhokla is going to get dove here or lose another turret with how much time LYON just spent bot.
Yeah, that is a whole lot. As let's see whether Berserker can actually make his way up. You can see he's trying to get that, but I just don't think it's going to work. As he dashes around with the all-out for a little bit, but it is not going to happen. Shelly also going to get a headache as they look to take down this inner turret, and that is a massive amount of gold over to JDG as they swing things back in their favor.
Yeah, I mean, a really good sequence by JDG that all started from the original dive attempt onto Dhokla that had Saint walking up top lane, Dhokla stuck around, Saint then teleported bot lane, and then if they would have paid more attention to their tempo markers,
I know,
they would have not gone for that dive bot, because it just gave too long of a turn for JDG to repeat the dive on Dhokla and kill the inner turret.
Sometimes those tempo markers can really be camouflaged, can't they, Jatt? And it's really hard to identify exactly where they are. But hopefully the next one, they will be able to figure out. As getting these grubs to work as well. As here towards the bottom side of the map, I believe that plate will be going on over. And there it is.
Jeez, this is still a very close game by the numbers. It just, the feeling you have after what happened in game 1 and then just this last sequence makes it a very scary situation.
If they're halfway through killing the Nexus, I still won't be sure. I'm
not 100% sure, because it's going to be actually pretty difficult for LYON to play out. So Berserker has a massive lead. That gives them full mid prio, right? They'll be able to step up on mid wave, and they'll make Gala consistently catch this under his turret. However, with a 1,000 gold lead in both solo lanes, it's very difficult for LYON to do anything with their mid prio, because with turrets missing in side lanes as well, it's very hard for them to get any push. So it just makes it difficult for them to actually have like true setup on these objectives, and it should allow JDG to get flank angles onto Berserker in fights, which makes it a very tense game of League of Legends.
Not to mention the fact that like Flash Tibbers into Equalizer is always into Cyclone,
Yeah.
he'll always kill Berserker, no matter how much money he has.
Yes.
That will always just be a way to get it done.
Eventually, I think Isles should build the Mikhails. Currently, he has the Imperial Mandate, which is very common. Berserker's maxing damage, and they're breaking the turret.
Yep, that is going to pull JunJia away, and he's going to have to flash into his blue pit. That is going to keep him alive, though, as they do take down the turret as Inspired. Throws down an R button for fun.
Gets the flash.
And okay, Gala did flash out of the way of it. Did miss that one, as Headbutt Pulverize does come on through as Vampire, looking for a re-engage. The curtains have been called. It's a lot of damage out of this Jhin as he tags Isles with it as well. Finds the ebb and flow to keep himself alive. It's now the double knock-up, the triple knock-up from JDG as they throw the kitchen sink at LYON. It's a double for JunJia, and Saint is having to flash his way out. He does have a disengage cone, so he will be able to use that to escape, but it's a big win for JDG.
The anti-Wukong strike. They just put Berserker in a bounce house. The CC chain from Alistar into Jhin gives time for JunJia to just annihilate Berserker.
Yep. Pulverize, Cyclone, and the Deadly Flourish, everything just thrown at Berserker. And this is exactly what we were just talking about, is the fact that they do just have the tools to lock down a target.
You can have mid-prio, but you have no control over your side lanes. So when you're pushed up in mid, they can flank you specifically from the top side. So Xiaoxu throws the ultimate down. Berserker already spends a lot of time on the Equalizer, has to Valkyrie away, tries to re-enter the mid lane. There's the Jhin value there from the root.
Yeah.
You can't say that didn't happen, Atlus.
And honestly, like, the Jhin is fantastic utility in this game.
If you're going to play a topside triangle team comp, Jhin is not that bad to have in the bot lane.
Yeah, that's basically what you have to do.
Yep.
As, Saint not looking too happy about how this one's going. But it is only 1.8k. It's not a massive lead. One dragon goes over to JDG as well. Stopping the stacking is a huge deal, especially when it is an Infernal Soul. But we'll just have to see whether LYON can bounce back after that one, because we know that if they do manage to get an unstoppable force to land onto a target, right, there are flashes that are now on cooldown. In fact, everyone has their flash on cooldown on JDG's side. Very soon, we will have HongQ having his available again, but I mean, this is the time to throw the rock at the enemy team.
It really is. Try to get someone flashless, kill them. But the big thing they need to focus on is just continuing to collect gold on Berserker, because he's 2.3k up right now, but he's not even truly on 2 items until he transforms that Manamune. And it's full 2 items on the entire top triangle for JDG. So at this point, Berserker actually not that strong in the relative sense of the game, but he will be strong later with how much gold he got early once he completes full items.
Well, Dhokla is just dancing around on an Equalizer, and that is a dangerous thing to do. JunJia holding him there with that Cyclone, and collapses, grabs the kill onto the Ksante. And now that lead is only extending. 2.2k just for Xiaoxu on this Rumble. He is so scary in this game.
Yeah, and it's in part, like, when you have a fed Wukong with double AP solo laners, that's the best version for Wukong, because all these people that the side laners are playing against have at least dabbled into the MR. The Ksante stacks it, Mercury Treads and Kanik. Now he's working on Iceborne, so he has a little bit of armor. But then even the Viktor, no armor to deal with JunJia, who's going to be dealing nearly true damage with the shred from his Wukong Q as well as the Black Cleaver.
Yeah, it's a very scary time here for LYON. And I think that if they can find a team fight, you know, with their Malphite, you know, get the AoE Wombo combo to work out, ducks in a row, as it were, and it might work out. But the problem is, the difference between this game and last game is that JDG now have full control. And LYON had control the entirety of the game until they lost in game number 1, and it was still very, very difficult to pick their fights in the right way. Now they're going to have to really try and orchestrate something without this Wukong Rumble just absolutely destroying them, not to mention HongQ throwing theirs around and things like that. This is a very, very difficult one to play out, despite the fact that Gala is put so far behind. It just doesn't seem to matter when they can kill Berserker so comfortably. Yeah,
the team play from JDG has been exceptional. Specifically, the team fighting from JDG has been exceptional in both of these games. Even if they were getting a little bit picked apart in game 1, they found the team fight at the end. And then here, the big fight they had in the mid lane has really spread their lead. So now they can start playing the map. I mean, look at how fed this Rumble is actually getting.
Oh, he's
229 CS, 2.7k ahead of Dhokla.
And does have an arm guard now completed as well, and so can go on untargetable at any point in time. And so Gala will catch this wave. We do have Saint picking up a wave towards that bottom side as well. That lead isn't as gigantic as we can see towards the top side. But the game certainly slowing down at this point in time. We're looking for our next Dragon fight, probably, to decide what's going to happen in this game as far as the next team fight is concerned. That would be my reckoning.
For sure. I wouldn't be too surprised. You can see LYON sending 2 out the top lane right here. I think they're hoping that JDG put a lot of attention towards controlling this Drake, and then they can get some extra turret gold for Saint. Because Berserker's really fed right now, Saint's behind, but if they can turn this Viktor into a legitimate secondary threat, I think there's a decent chance they'd have...
Oh, there's the flash there. Okay. It's out goes Berserker. JunJia looking for an angle here, but it's just Inspired that he's engaging on. Tidal Wave not really doing too much of anything at all as Dhokla teleported in. They're looking for JunJia, who does use that Warrior Trickster to get himself out of the way. Dhokla still going to be there and does find the Q onto the Monkey, but now the curtains have been called. It's JDG's turn to start this fight as Inspired is just dead. Oh my goodness, had the ultimate still up and available as the equalizer goes down as well. It's not exactly the greatest position. They're underneath the enemy turret, but it doesn't seem to matter. JDG just get in there and take them out. There's the all-out from Dhokla as well, as HongQ was tanking the turret for such a long time, but he's distracted by so many JDG members, and that is going to be them just cutting down LYON where they stand.
They have absolutely blown this game right open. They call LYON on their bluff and they annihilate them. LYON was just trying to buy as much time for Saint to get free gold as possible, because Saint wasn't coming. He was just in the top lane the whole time.
Maybe it's Saint's time, as these are some low health bars. Possible angle here. Don't have any vision in this Baron pit, as HongQ will be able to push him away. So no, never mind.
That would be rather ambitious if he tried to win.
I just wanted to see like Flash Arcane Storm try and pop someone, you know? But he had no idea. There was no vision available.
Yeah, right here, I'm a little surprised Dhokla and Inspired continue to step forward, because to me, job is done here. Saint's going to get top turret, you're going to give Drake anyway. But Inspired gets stun locked, probably thought he'd be able to ult away for the disengage. Never ended up pressing his ultimate, dies with ult and flash up. And then LYON definitely underestimated just how much engage JDG has, because they can flash forward with Danny, they can flash forward with Wukong, they can flash forward with Alistar whenever they want, and Jhin can CC from so far away. They can't run away once that fight starts, and they lose everything.
Well, Dragon up and available here as Dhokla down to 50% health. As in comes Vampire, finds himself a pulverize, but he might be a little bit too far forward. Never mind, HongQ does make his way round the corner. There's the unstoppable force. Inspired going to hit it this time, as the tidal wave is also much better this time around. Vampire already taken out as HongQ just getting hit by a rock and will get taken down. Still the Nami is dead, and Berserker is fighting against Tibbers. Almost loses that one at the same time. However, now it's just Xiaoxu and Gala alive.
Big fight there for LYON, getting 3 for 1 and currently preventing the Drake, so they get a big bunch of bounty gold, making this a 3,000 gold game. And if they can redeploy in time to take this Drake, they could get soul point as well.
This could be a huge deal. It is a little bit of a Rebel Baron weakness play as well, as we have a negative 1,600 gold from that one. With the fact that there is so much less gold from the Baron, can not necessarily be the greatest of decisions, especially if you lose a team fight immediately afterwards. But still, Dhokla going to be moving back towards this Drake, and it's not over yet. Could just be a rinse and repeat. Look for another fight.
We'll see. I think they get it. JunJia has to run from base. There's no teleport on the Annie. If Saint would help them on the Drake, they'd definitely be able to kill it faster. But he takes the wave. It's going to be completely fine. And soul point now, as we get to watch this fight one more time. Vampire is early. You look, Gala, JunJia, and Rumble all on the other side of the map. So when HongQ moves in, Inspired, I think lands his first Malphite ultimate of the game, but it does lead to 2 kills.
It does.
Very interesting development as Berserker dodges that last curtain call and survives the Tibbers to stay fed in this game.
Yep, much better team fight look here for LYON as the equalizer goes down. Deadly Flourish as well. Make sure that Isles is just ticking.
Wow.
As that one does go down. So he's going to have to go back to base. They still have some Barons left on this map, as Inspired off to the side. Thinking about using that Blast Cone to get himself in there.
Malphite ultimate worked the last time he landed it on a player. So might want to try it again. The angle is actually not there though, so he decides to back up. HongQ level 16 Annie, very scary right now.
And this is JDG just walking around as a unit, waiting to catch out anyone who puts a foot out of line. 27 minutes into the game, soul point like you were talking about, a huge deal here. As LYON will at least be able to get this wave shoved out.
Yeah.
And I think now is the time to talk about like scaling and things like this. I do feel like it's a bit of an evergreen comp from JDG with the fact that they have so many AoE CC tools.
True.
But the damage may not quite be enough because there is that true tank in the Ksante towards the top side of the map.
Absolutely. I think JDG's team comp is incredibly front-loaded in damage.
Yeah.
And it relies a lot on thresholds. So if they're able to get that first kill of the fight, we're going to see a fight like we saw in the mid lane where they gained the giant gold lead and took Baron. But if they don't get that clean one-shot, then I think the eventual damage of the Corki and the Viktor can be a lot higher. So I think with the current state of the game, the fights are playable, but LYON just has to play them extremely well. Mikhail's being on Nami is good, but the fact that one Jhin W into an equalizer is all of Isles' health also makes things difficult to play.
And it doesn't even matter. The Jhin W doesn't really do very much damage.
Yeah.
Because it just needs to hold them in place. Is now inspired, engaged on. Hasn't really taken any damage just yet, though. As that Kanik Rukern doing some work here alongside his extra thrift shop items. 3 items, but the cheapest way to get there. You love to see it.
I will say, junglers that can build Protoplasm Harness generally just get inflated in power because that item is so incredibly efficient and strong. So a big fan whenever you're able to complete that item on a jungler. You don't need to build an item to clear the jungle.
Yep. All right, Dhokla catching this wave. The rest of JDG were thinking about going for a bit of a dive, but I don't think Dokla's very diveable.
Yeah.
Honestly, it feels like the tempo vibes have shifted. You know, that's what it feels like to me.
So tempo vibes is way more useless than tempo markers.
Oh, absolutely.
As a term.
It's completely useless.
It is actually a full word wasted.
Yeah. It's just like a waste of time entirely.
Tempo markers is only like half of a wasted word.
Yeah, you can almost make it mean something.
Yeah.
But tempo vibes is purely just a feeling that you get.
Correct.
That's all it is. However, I feel like it works in this particular instance.
You would, because you're the one who said it. I don't think others would feel that.
All right. JunJia thinking about trying to find a bit of an angle here, but I don't think he's going to be able to. And LYON will just slink into their jungle.
So Saint is recovered in this game, actually. So he's 3 full items with Mercury Treads, will be doing a decent amount of damage, level 18 as well. The game's actually gotten pretty late.
Yeah.
It's kind of a one-fight game if it really swings to the side of one team and a wave is in the right place. It could just be them running down the Nexus. And Berserker almost has Infinity Edge. When Corkis get to the 4-item Hex Optics Infinity Edge build, they can annihilate teams. So that's going to be the win condition for LYON, is getting to the Infinity Edge and then keeping Berserker alive in team fights.
It's a ludicrous amount of damage in 4 items. I was thinking that maybe it would be the dreaded Collector third, and it wasn't that. Hex Optics just a little bit too strong, and then the Infinity Edge comes in for that massive damage. And in a minute's time, there is an Infernal Soul on the table for LYON. I have a feeling that that might be where the fight is going to occur. But the Baron has just spawned as well. That might be another angle. JDG could also go for a potential trade, but I think that Soul is so dangerous, especially when it's a Viktor so good at applying that Infernal Soul.
For sure. I don't see an easy way for LYON to move in here, and as soon as they move into River, they're going to get flanked. JunJia is currently not on Vision.
Yeah, that's a scary teleport from Saint as well, but wasn't punished for it.
I can really see LYON moving towards Baron for control, but Saint is so scared.
Oh, he gets the Vision down, so Saint does get himself out of there. Does have to
that was scary.
Expend a bit, but still able to survive.
But you can see all the flank angles. Rumble in mid lane. Okay, now teleporting over to the bot lane, so he's okay, sure. They're just going to actually approach from one side. This is a better look for LYON now that they've been able to retake this bush and actually have their tanks in front. They need to be able to mark JunJia, though. Great ward there by Isles.
Yeah, getting that ward down is certainly important, but they need another one so they can see what JunJia's doing. I think they do manage to see him, as HongQ also walking over this control ward will be discovered. So no flank for the Annie either. So JDG, they might just have to pull the trigger with information over to LYON, as Inspired does spot him out here. Cute little poro there from HongQ, but I don't think that that is going to allow him to get his flank off. As stun does come down, they're thinking about trying to get on top of Inspired instead.
Yeah, the lower this Dragon gets, the better it is for LYON. He gets a lot of damage on HongQ. Here's a fight.
Yeah, Tibbers does come down a little bit early in this one as well, as the curtains have been called. JunJia has control of the Drake, though, for the moment, as Inspired is off to the side. Saint is going to get engaged on, but the flash out here from JunJia as this Viktor is starting to do so much damage. Still, Inspired is out of the fight. That health bar is way too low, and the Drake will be secured by JDG. Can they get anything more, though? That is going to be the question, as Xiaoxu does have a full health bar, but doesn't exactly have teammates with the same, so he is just going to back away.
Mission accomplished for JDG. Prevent the soul point and keep the pressure on the map. it was an interesting start to the fight where Inspired was just hoping to get the anti-ultimate down to just diminish the amount of engage that JDG would have if LYON sticks around for the Drake. But then I think Inspired ulted in probably a little bit early. We'll have to watch this one more time. Start of the fight is okay, but Berserker having to Valk out of the pit means no one can follow up on Inspired. And then they lose vision of the Drake for a bit. Inspired ulting in for HongQ there, I think it's just a straight-up mistake.
Yeah.
If he stays on the outside of the fight, he'd still have the ultimate for an eventual steal, and they could reset the fight right here. But then once he had to flash out back of the pit, they have to completely bail, because then they're not even looking for the Infernal Soul.
Yo, Corki, what are you doing? Hold your position.
All right, Inspired getting a little bit heated here.
He said Corki, hold your position, I believe. So he didn't like Valking out the back of the pit like that. Probably would have wanted to Valk into the river to hold that part of the river so they could stay on the Drake. But clearly some miscommunication there. Inspired's the one who ulted in that looked bad at the end, but he clearly wanted that fight to play out a different way.
Well, we'll see whether they are going to be able to figure it out in the next one, because of course, didn't lose too much. It is a couple of Drakes stacked up. Next time, if JDG manages to get a third, my goodness. I mean, then you're staring down the barrel of the 4 Infernal Soul, which is ludicrous amounts of damage, especially when the composition entirely revolves around making sure that you have enough damage in your opening salvo. And is certainly going to be helping out here. A 4-item Rumble with a 10-stack Dark Seal as well, though. I mean, this Xiaoxu guy is pretty strong.
Rumble's out of control at this point. But it is about Berserker and Saint. If Berserker can stand and hit in any of these team fights, which is much easier said than done, against a Proto Belt Annie and a Wukong, he's gone all damage. So if Berserker finds the right fight, it's going to be big, but it's probably more likely that he gets CC chained and dies. With Mikhail's being on Nami, it helps a bit, but they also just have no side lane control. So everywhere they push, they're trying to throw down as many wards as possible to try and prevent a flank. It's a very difficult game to play.
See whether they can convince JDG to get 5 people on the map and just fight them in an honest 5v5. I think that is where LYON might be able to get something done, especially if some of these Arcane Storm resets do come through from Saint. He is starting to do so much damage in this game.
So are you claiming it's dishonest if they flank Berserker? Honest has to be just all 5 eye contact?
A gentleman's 5v5.
A gentleman's 5v5.
This was coined by OK Bro, once known as OK Bro.
Yeah, I'm down for gentleman's 5v5.
Yeah. They weren't a great team. So maybe being a gentleman in League of Legends is not the way to do it. Maybe cheating into a situation that is just advantageous for you could be the way to do it.
Flanking.
However, sometimes there are gentlemen still left.
Yeah, flanking seems like smart 5v5s.
Yeah.
Not necessarily. I think
it's sneaky, though. It's not honest. You know?
I think it's quite
honest. If you have a gentleman's 5v5, you just draw the battle lines, and then you go.
Well, this is a gentleman's... It's not a gentleman's Baron. There's no vision.
Yeah, it's just a
Baron.
Baron.
LYON. It's just a Baron.
Well, Inspired will get some vision on to Xiaoxu here. I don't think he wants to be engaging onto him and HongQ once again, though, as Gala has taken a lot of damage from just the Baron. Their Baron damage is actually just not that great. As in he goes once again, HongQ having to deal with this big old rock. Gala does take down Isles, but Vampire will be following soon. The Arcane Storm, like we were saying, is doing a whole bunch of work still. Oh my goodness, Xiaoxu just does so much damage in this game. And they look to get on top of Saint. They will be able to do so. There's the all-out from Dhokla. Allows him to travel away from the battle and takes down the Rumble to boot. Still, JunJia's going in, but these shields are working for LYON. Still, it's a 3-for-2.
Wow, what looked like a disastrous start ends in a 3-for-2, but I still think JDG should have enough up to take this Baron, no problem. Saint is TPing back on midway, but it just seems like... It seems rather bold to try and stop this Baron, but that looks like what they're going to try to do.
I think you probably could. I mean, the Baron is doing a fair bit of damage, and it's only a Jhin, right? He doesn't do a lot of damage to Baron. Still, it is down exceptionally low, and the teleport is going to mean that they are not going to be able to get that one done. Even if it was just a Alistar there. Finds a double pulverize as well, and oh dear, Saint. He just teleported back in, and now he's going to take the Death Chamber route in order to get out.
I think it would have been better not to contest the Baron.
You know what?
Yeah.
As far as the hindsight is 2020 is concerned, I would agree with you.
The second time. The first one I'm down for. And it was a very nice engage here by Vampire. You can see Isles, he wants to be there to support Berserker, but he just dies if Rumble puts his ultimate on the CC. They are able to trade it for supports, but you can see Berserker's just not able to stand and hit in any of these fights. Even though they have a Knight's Vow on him, I believe, from Inspired, he dies right away, and then Xiaoxu at level 20 just has so many base stats, it takes so long for LYON to finish them off. And Saint playing with fire to re-engage. Spellbook TP into Hex Flash is the perfect engage to set up the execute onto Saint.
Yeah, Gala also being able to get a little bit of extra money there as well, collecting that kill. Thankfully, they don't lose any more, but still, LYON kind of circling the drain at this point in the game. And you saw their picture-in-picture at the same time that the dragon also goes down. 3 dragons apiece here, as we are really late into this game, almost ticking towards that 40-minute mark.
Yeah,
and the Baron is getting a lot of work done.
LYON needs a bit of a miracle fight here. Berserker with an RFC as well, so 5 full items. Could do 1 more for, you know, fake 7 item or true 6 item nowadays.
He's got an Elixir of Wrath. That counts. That's an item. Never mind. Doesn't have it anymore. He drank it.
We need a rather miracle fight where Berserker's able to hit, but the problem is anyone who he can hit can kill him.
Yeah.
So it's very hard to get auto attacks off.
It is problematic. The 3-level advantage that Xiaoxu had as well is just kind of ludicrous. Still has it, actually, as Dhokla hasn't yet hit that level 18.
But you can't hit level 21, so it won't get worse.
That's true. It's only up from here, Jatt. You're exactly right.
Yeah.
I do like that optimism. As JunJia off on a bit of an angle here towards mid lane.
You can also only lose 3-0. It can't get worse.
Can't lose 4-0.
Nope, not yet.
Oh, man. You are just a
beacon
of hope. Exactly. It's beautiful to see as Ingo's Berserker looks for JunJia. He's almost just dead. And whoa, just 1 extra auto would have done it. But the engage on the other side is still really dangerous. But Dhokla will be able to find HongQ. They get the pick. And now Berserker is looking for even more. This Corki does a lot of damage. Like you were saying, just needs to stand and hit. What about Valkyrie forward and hit?
I mean, Inspired still has ultimate. He's hunting.
Oh, Gala could be his target as well. Xiaoxu is going to be there. The wagon wheel comes out, and he finds the double knockup. Berserker wants to kill Gala, and let's see whether he can do so as Xiaoxu is on the gravity well. My God, he does so much damage. Uses his onions here to buy a bit of time, but I have a feeling he's still dead. And JDG, they fall apart. LYON's pounce, and they are looking to try and push even further.
As they say in Brazil, hope is the last one to die. They have Gala, Xiaoxu, and HongQ dead, and they're trying to push bot.
Let's see, that's a lot of crystalline overgrowth. Not a lot of people have been down here towards this side of the map on LYON's side, but they're looking to push even further. And Berserker does so much damage to these structures.
I think they're going to go for the end. It's difficult. The Baron,
5 seconds.
The Baron has fallen off, so they won't have to deal with as many minions. HongQ will be alive, though. He's going to try and clear the wave.
Well, JunJia, Vampire, they have so much AoE CC as well. You cannot stack up against them, but still, the gravity well comes down. The bubble is not going to quite land there as the headbutt back from Vampire. He's doing the best that he can, but JunJia should be going down. The Cyclone comes on through. That is the GA that is going to work out. The Pulverize onto 3. LYON need to take down these Nexus turrets before the rest of the respawns come in. It's JunJia. He should be going down here as Saint. Can he find it? No! He turns it around. They look for it, though, and the second Nexus turret is going to go down. The Nexus is getting focused, but it's Xiaoxu that's left alive. 1 more auto, and there it is! LYON take the game and even out the series.
They're back, baby. 1-1.
I saw Xiaoxu respawn. I was absolutely terrified, Jatt.
Hope is the last one to die. LYON take game 2. This could easily be
Wait,
a
what is it? Is it Hope is the last one to die, or is it that you're constantly worried? Like, it's one of the two, Jatt. You have to choose. I'll give you some time, though, because we're going to throw it over to the lounge.
Absolutely insane here. Oh, my God. They give them their test of their own medicine here. Raz, I want to hear you first. Did you believe in